So congratulations, you've reached the end of this video course, and this particular video is video number 8, and we're going to talk about the buying habits of your perfect buyer, why they buy, what do they buy, and things related. So I'm going to be visiting 2 different websites. We're going to be utilizing the Facebook Ads Audience Insights tool, and second of all, we're going to be utilizing Amazon.com. So Amazon's going to reveal to us a lot of good data as far as buying habits go, and Facebook as well as far as how much they spend, which is something that is not provided by a lot of tools. So this information is golden. So what I recommend that you do is do the same thing earlier, so gardening. And remember that as we began to realize that by looking at the media kits, by looking at everything else, that our perfect buyer, the person that buys those magazines, is age 50 and older. Now, as we can see looking at Facebook, however, it's about 45 to 64. Now, of course, 22% is 25 to 34. Now, the media kits, however, tell us that it's 50 and older. So that might mean that 25 to 34, they might be interested in gardening, but they may not be spending as much money on gardening as these people up here. So that's essentially what the media kits go with. And I tend to just go with the media kit because those are proven magazines. They have spent millions of dollars into advertising and so forth. So I'm going to go with 45 to 64. So I'm going to go back over here to age, and I'm going to switch it to 45 to 65. So now I am honing in on my perfect buyer. I'm totally ignoring everybody else. Now, you might be thinking, well, won't I be losing sales? Yeah, you might lose a few sales, but if you speak primarily to the extremely interactive, engaging audience, you'll be able to speak to everybody else. And these people are more likely to buy from you anyways. So now that we've honed in on here, what Facebook Ad Audience Insights does now is it begins to show you the lifestyle pertaining just to that specific gender and age bracket. So you see how powerful this is, and you see how step-by-step process through this whole video course brings you to this point of realization that this is your perfect buyer. So now we can dig into the lifestyle, we can dig into their realistic education levels, relationship, job titles, which we can see overall it's consistent across the board. Now, if we go straight to household, this will begin to tell us how much they can afford. So most of them are earning about 50 to 75 grand. And the second highest is 75 to 100 grand. And we can see that it's not a whole lot here because gardening does cost money if we think about it. And at the end of the day, gardening does cost money. Whether you buy seeds or anything else, the soil costs money, fertilizer costs money, tools cost money. So you kind of have to be making at least some money to actually afford these, unless at this point you have all the tools and everything else. So the reason why I'm saying this out loud to you is because I've realized and I've discovered things along the way. And I really want you to do the exact same thing is as you begin to discover things, just speak it out loud and just write it down. Whatever you learn best, just get it ingrained into your brain. So home ownership, we can see that about 82% of them own homes. And if they don't own homes, realistically, if they own like an apartment, they can't really go all out as far as gardening goes. So that kind of confirms that there. Household size, home market value, how much is their home valued at? So we can see that their home is valued about 100,000 to 500,000, so kind of upper middle class section. And spending methods. They use any card, bank card, travel and entertainment, gas, store. So if you look at this picture here, it tells us they do have credit cards. They don't spend a lot on travel and entertainment. They do spend money on gas, which we all do. They spend a good amount of money on their credit card. So they mainly use credit cards. They don't use a lot of cash. They do spend money at upscale department stores. So that kind of gets us thinking, probably a woman. And if we click on purchase, of course, not always, but this is our main demographic. So purchase, retail spending, we can see that it is low as far as retail goes. Online purchases go high. They're very high as far as online purchases go. So if you're selling an online product or service, they're more likely to be into that. So US retail spending, that might be like the majority of retail. So gardening is very specialized. So they're spending more time on tools and seeds and everything else. Purchase behavior, what are they purchasing? So this is going to reveal to you a lot of information. So business purchases obviously are not a lot. Household products, pet products, health and beauty, home and garden, food and drink. So they basically spend most of their money on just basic essentials. Now, as you can see here, I can tell you right off the bat, this particular demographic also have tons of pets. So they love pets. And so you can see that they spend a lot of money on pet products. So now that you have mapped out their typical day, you can also get an idea of what other different products you can sell to them, not just within that particular gardening niche, but other niches as well. So in market for vehicle, we can actually see what kind of vehicles that they purchased. So a lot of convertibles, sports cars, mid-sized cars, luxury sedans. So now that we have a brief idea of what their spending habits look like, we can go over to Amazon and we can type in something like gardening. And I'm going to sort by, average customer review. So obviously the more customer reviews, the better. And this will tell me what exactly are they spending their money on. So we can see garden knife with extra sharp stainless steel blade. So I'm getting the feeling that they want quality tools, because if you garden enough, your tools will eventually get used and may rust away. So you definitely want good quality stuff. So pruning gloves, about 24 bucks. We're looking through here. We have $10, 21, 26, 15, 33. Now, you notice I'm looking at the price points, right? And the reason being is because I want to get an idea. Do they spend a lot of money on low ticket items, or do they spend a lot of money on high ticket items? Maybe they spend a lot of money on low ticket items so that they can get a lot more supply of tools, books. So, and what this does is it allows us to scroll through and get an idea of what they're buying. Like if the average customer view is greater, that means that there's a large amount of people that are buying it. Because if you think about it, most of us don't really leave reviews on Amazon. So the people that do, there's actually a lot more people that buy it as well. So as we go through, we can see a lot of tools, hoe tools, garden knife tools, pruning gloves. And we could even click here to get an idea. And what I like about Amazon as well is they give you categories within the main category so that you can actually break things down and have a better view of what kind of different types of things that are being sold. So we got vegetable, plants, and seeds. And if we do average customer review, this allows us to see what is being bought the most. So if we go down through here, we see a lot of seeds. And we can also take a look at books too. So if I go back over here, take a look at books, we can see that these books have a good amount of reviews, each one of these. So we're looking at 1,500, 147. So a really good amount. And they're about $15 to $20 each. So that gives me an idea of what their price points look like. And of course, I can go through here. I can look at the customer reviews. And generally speaking, what I try to look for is consistent patterns. Patterns in what people are saying, the positives, and what people are saying they like, what they're saying that they dislike, and everything in between. So I look for patterns because patterns generally tell me that there's something consistent. And if there's something that is consistent, then that tells me that it might be worth looking into. So I hope you enjoyed this video course as much as I enjoyed teaching it. Make sure that you go step by step and implement the whole process so that you can find your perfect buyer.